Good afternoon. Welcome to today's joint lunchtime webinar between BTSYM and CPTYM. If you have been catching up on your professional development and continuous professional development over COVID, you would have very well spotted by now that over the course of the past year and a half, the BTSYM has been delivering joint webinars with other young member societies. Today happens to be another one of our endeavors of making seeing the opportunities that the pandemic presented and joining hands with, this time of course, our Portuguese counterparts. And we are ever so grateful for CPTYM and Louis, who's representing CPTYM today, for actually setting up the opportunity and getting Francisco, who's our speaker for the day, to share his experience and knowledge from Lisbon Metro Green and Yellow Line extension with not only the Portuguese and the British tunneling industry members, but also with the rest of the world through the medium of YouTube. So thanks a lot, Louis. And of course, thanks will be ordered to Francisco as well, who is the main speaker for the day. So without taking any further time, I'll hand over to Louis, who would add his opening note, and then we'll go on to introduce Francisco, our speaker for the day. So over to you, Louis.
Okay, thank you, Divik, for your kind words. So I'm very pleased to be here and to be organizing this double webinar together with the British Tunneling Society, the young members. Yesterday we had this first webinar in Portuguese on the construction of the Silvertown Road Tunnel in London, and you can still watch it on the CPT Young Members YouTube if you want. And today, as you said, we'll have Francisco making his presentation about the extension of the Lisbon subway. Well, I believe that it's really great that the CPT young members can be part of these efforts to encourage the sharing of knowledge among the younger professionals in the field of tunnels and underground works. And on one hand, we could give young professionals the opportunity to present their work they have developed in other countries, like Claudio did yesterday, to the Portuguese public. And today we'll have on the other hand, we'll have also Francisco disseminating his work carried out in Portugal to a British audience. So I hope that in the future we will also be able to expand this idea that we have here to, as you already mentioned, to other ITA young members and societies, because it's really important that we strengthen the ties between the younger professionals. So that said, now I would like to introduce Francisco, okay? To present our speaker, Francisco. Francisco Bernardo is a geotechnical engineer with 10 years of experience in large railway and drainage schemes. He has worked in Brazil, Portugal, and also United Kingdom. And he is currently working for COBA Consulting Engineers based in Lisbon, Portugal. And so he's a member of the design team in charge of the primary lining design for the main tunnels, stations, and shafts that are included in Merck Package 2 of the yellow and green line extension of the Lisbon subway. So now, Francisco, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you, Divik. First, I would like to say thank you to BTS young members and CPT young members for the invitation to present this project today. This project is, so the name of the project is Green and Yellow Line Extension. It is quite an important upgrade to the existing metro network in Lisbon. and is now at a very advanced stage in terms of development. Today I am going to show you some images from the preliminary design, and hopefully in the end I will be able to show you some more advanced information about the current stage of the project. So going to the agenda or the summary for today. So first, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the history of metro in Lisbon. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the existing metro network. For those of you who are not familiar with the existing network, then I'm going to talk a little bit about the whole project, some geotechnical aspects, some interesting stuff about the project. And then I'm going to give a general description of each one of the sites, each one of the main excavation works that form part of the project. And in the end, I'm going to give you a quick update on what is the current status of the project and what is the planned timeline to complete the project. So going back to Lisbon's metro history, Lisbon Metro Company was founded in January 1948. The early studies for developing a metro network in Lisbon started earlier than this year. However, due to economic issues, it was only possible to open the first route in December 1959. The first route was quite a big and important route. He had 6.5 kilometers of extension with 11 stations, and had a Y shape, the one you can see here in this picture, and it was connecting Restauradores to Entre Campos and Sete Rios. And there was quite a demand for this project, because in its first year it carried about 15.3 million passengers. So the first tunnels, in terms of the construction methodology, they were very basic compared to today's standards. The method that was used at the time was the Belgian method, which we can call a derivation of the more usual cut and cover method. And it was as you can see here in the picture, it was about excavating a trench and casting the lining at the bottom of the trench, and then from the interior of the lining, remove the ground, and of course restate the ground to the street level. This slide shows you two pictures of how the stations and it looked like at the time when the first section of the project opened in 1959. And of course, as the network expanded, new construction methodologies were used in the extension of the existing network, using different and more modern construction methodologies as TBMs, cut and cover construction, using different types of elements, and of course using SCL or NATM methodologies to construct the tunnels. Looking at the existing metro network, so on the right-hand side, you can see the diagram of the existing network. So today, Lisbon has a metro system with around 44.5 kilometers of railway and includes 56 stations. You can see on the left-hand side the development of the number of stations and the total length of the tunnels over the years, with a particular increase from the 90s to nowadays. These are a few pictures of how the tunnels and the stations looked like nowadays. On its record year, 2019, Lisbon Metro carried 173 million passengers, and it is the demand continues to grow. Now, looking at the project that I'm going to focus our presentation today. So two pictures here of where the project is located. If I go to the next slide, you'll see. So the new project, the new extension, connects Rato at the hilly part of the city, and it goes down all the way to Cais de Sodré, which is located near the river. So all this section here goes through quite an old part of the city, and includes some sensitive assets along the way, which of course will have to be considered in the design and construction of this project. So on the right hand side, you can see isolated the extension of the project. And as you can see here again, it is connecting Rato to Cais de Sodré. And of course, this project has a number of drivers of key reasons to be developed. I'm going to highlight three of them in this presentation. So the first one is to create a direct route to connect Rato and Cais de Sodré, which currently takes a longer journey to go from one station to the other, and requires changing at different stations to get from one station to the other. So this route will of course create a direct route between the two stations. One of the other key reasons for this project is to be able to provide at Cais de Sodré, which is an important railway station and an important pier. It's to provide additional capacity to take passengers to the city center. So Cais de Sodré is a station which already receives a significant number of passengers from Cascais and from the south side of the river Tejo. And by creating this new connection, Cais de Sodré will be able to offer an improved service to passengers that arrive at Cais de Sodré. And the third reason that I am highlighting here is the fact that this connection will create a circle line, which will have significant gains in terms of operation and overall network capacity for the metro network. So as you can see here in this picture, this connection here will form a ring line which will intersect the other existing stations. So now looking at the different lots construction packages that we have in this project. So we have lot 1, which includes modification of Rato station terminal. It includes the construction of the new Estrela station. It also includes 1 new vertical shaft and approximately 1.3 kilometers of running tunnels. Currently, the project has already started. The excavation works are ongoing, and the contract was awarded to Zagop Construção e Engenharia, and the designers for this contract is CJC. Lot 2, which is the package that I'm working on at the moment. There is a mistake here. It doesn't include Rato station modification works. It doesn't. It's a mistake. It includes the construction of new center station, the construction of the new entrance at Cais do Sodré station. Includes 1 new vertical, one new ventilation shaft, and approximately 0.6 kilometers of running tunnels. The current status of the project is that we are carrying out enabling works. The contract was awarded to Mota-Engil, Construção SA and SPI Batignolles International. And the designer for these works, the company that I'm working for, is COBA Consulting Engineers. And also the other company that is helping us with the design, which is Jet SJ. Then there is another package, lot 3, which includes the construction of new viaducts at Campo Grande, which will allow for the connection of the new extension to the existing network. At the moment, that package it is at design stage, and the contract was awarded to Teixeira Duarte Engenharia e Construções and Somafel Engenharia e Obras Ferroviárias S.A. Lot 4, it's a route-wide package and includes all the fit-out works, architectural finishes, and MEP works. That package is still at tender stage. So now looking at some more interesting aspects of the design and of the project. This slide shows you here the geotechnical profile of the route, starting at Rato and ending at Cais do Sodré. Let me see if I can point something here. Okay, hopefully you'll be able to see my my cursor here. Luis, can you see my cursor here?
I can't see it.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. So I can point towards a few things. Okay, good. So we have Rato starting here, and we have Cais do Sodré at this point here. And as I said before, the project starts at a very hilly part of the city, and it goes all the way down to a lower part of the city, close to the river. At the beginning of the project, the main materials that the project will be facing will be limestones. And at the end of the project, the alignment will slowly start to face materials of lower quality, starting to when we start to approach Santo Station, starting to enter into the Neo-Cretacic of the volcanic complex of Lisbon. And in the end part of the project, as we change from a tunnel to a cut and cover section, we start facing materials of lower qualities like alluvium and other materials with lower resistance as we get to Cais do Sodré station. So this slide shows you a few images of how these materials look like. So this first picture on the top shows you how alluvium looks like in Lisbon, in that part of the project. The picture at the bottom shows how the Miocenic looks like. And then this picture here shows you how the Neocritaxic looks like, with some basalt included and in this complex, and some tuff, which is basically volcanic ash. How those materials look like in this box. And then at the bottom we can see a picture of the Cretacic, which is essentially limestone with different levels of degradation and alteration. So to try to, for those of you who perhaps have already visited Lisbon, this picture shows how the project is located in the overall landscape of the city. I have included in this picture a few landmarks of Lisbon. So we have 25th of April Bridge on the left. We have Terreiro do Passo at the center bottom of the picture, and then Castle of São Jorge on the right hand side, and then Marquês de Pombal on the top right hand side. And you can see in this picture how the project is looks like in the overall landscape of the city. So in terms of alignment and in terms of main works included in this project, so this picture here shows you how the alignment of the new project connects to the existing yellow line. So on the top left, you can see the end of the Rato station, which at the moment already includes some tunnels to park trains and to also carry the necessary ventilation for the route. So there's a shaft. I don't know. You can see my mouse here, right? Which, can you see my cursor here?
Not very well. Not very well.
Sorry, Divik. Okay, right. Okay, let me just go back. Right. Okay. So let me just try again. Okay. What about now?
We still can't see.
Can you see something now? You can. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Right. So as I was saying, so this section here forms the existing line, and this section here forms the existing tunnels that are connected to a ventilation shaft. So the new line will intercept the existing tunnels at this point here, and it will form a new line that will connect to Estrela station first here. Further down, it will connect to Santos station here, and then it will further down, close to the river, we have Cais do Sodré station over here. In between the stations I just mentioned, we have the project includes one ventilation shaft here, another ventilation shaft over here, and at the existing tunnels there are some there is a new cross passage that needs to be constructed, and of course at the point of interception with the existing tunnels there is the need to build a crossover to connect the two tunnels. So this picture shows you a longitudinal profile of the project. We can see here that the first I would say the first 700, perhaps more, the first 1 kilometer of the tunnel of the alignment will face quite a significant overburden. So we're talking about 45 meters of cover. And you can see here in this picture the position of Estrela station and Santos station in the alignment. The other fact that I would like to highlight is because we are descending from a hilly top of the city all the way down to the river, we will have gradients of around 4%. As we descend from the higher level to the lower level. So now looking at each one of the sites and each one of the works that the project comprises. So one of the works will be the cross passage, the construction of the cross passage to the existing tunnels where currently trains are being parked. And we have the other work will be the crossover between the tunnels where the trains are being parked and the new line that we are constructing. And you can see on the right hand side some cross sections of those works with the crossover with quite a significant section that will have to be excavated with approximately 17 meters. Going to the next site, we have Estrela station. So Estrela station will be constructed at the depth of 50 meters. And the main platform tunnels will have an equivalent diameter of around 18 meters. The station is about 105 meters long, and the excavation methodology that will be used to excavate these tunnels will be the NATM SCL construction method. So looking at the tunnels that will connect Estrela station and Santos station, the tunnels will be excavated at a depth of 50 to 40 meters. The equivalent diameter of those tunnels will be around 9 meters, and the total length of the running tunnels will be 930 meters. And likewise, the SCL NATM excavation method will be used to construct these tunnels. Looking at the first ventilation shaft, the ventilation shaft will be constructed using a board pile support. The diameter will be around 19 meters and the depth will be around 44 meters. Looking at Santos Station, which now is part of the package that I'm currently working on. The station will, as you can see here in this picture, will face some very different conditions in terms of overburden from one side to the other side. It also faces some difficulties in terms of insertion of these works in the overall urban environment of the city in this area, which has very sensitive assets at this location. The length of the station will be the same as the Estrela station, 105 meters. The main platform tunnel will have an equivalent diameter of approximately 18 meters. And as I mentioned before, it will face very different overburden conditions from one side to the other side, with 40 meters on one side, and these numbers relate to axis level. So we will on the south side will be facing perhaps only 15 meters of overburden to axis level. Now, looking at the section of tunnels from the end of Santos Station to almost half of Avenida Dom Carlos, we will have we'll be excavating that section using SCL NATM construction methodology. The tunnel will have the same equivalent diameter as the section before, and approximately at the point where I have my pointer here, the excavation methodology will change from a tunnel to cut and cover, which I will show in this slide here. So approximately at that point, the cross section will change, and the construction methodology will change to the cut and cover methodology, where diaphragm walls will be used to form the support of that excavation. Halfway through that section, the second shaft will be the second ventilation shaft will be constructed. That shaft will be constructed in materials of very of poor resistance, alluvium, for example. That shaft will be also be constructed with using diaphragm walls. The maximum depth of this ventilation shaft will be approximately 22 meters, and you can see on the right hand side some cross sections of this shaft. Now, I just want to highlight one interesting fact. So, if we look at Cais do Sodré station, it already exists. It is part of the existing green line, and this new section of that we'll be constructing using the cut and cover construction methodology will be connecting onto the existing station. And what you can see here in this picture here is how we will intersect the existing station here. Now, looking at the last element of this lot of the project, lot number 2, there will be the need to construct a new entrance in the existing Cais do Sodré station. That new entrance will be constructed using the cut and cover construction methodology, using sheet pile walls, and the maximum depth of that excavation will be 7 meters. Now, I would like to show you a picture, sorry, not a picture, a video of how the sites look like, and this video will also show how what is the current status of the works. This video was released by Metropolitano de Lisboa, which is the owner of this project on Monday. So it's quite a good update for you guys to have on where the project is at the moment. Let me just try to see if I can press play. Yeah. Okay, that was it. Okay, right. So in terms of the planned timeline to complete the project, the current forecast to complete the project and to start passenger services is Q4 of 2024. So this is it. I would like to say a special thank you to Metropolitano Lisboa for authorizing this presentation, and of course, thank you to everyone to having to have listened to my presentation today.
Thanks for sharing your experience from the project with us today. It was a real treat and really enlightening to listen or hear the fantastic work you've been doing on the project. I think we can take a few questions from the room. So, as Louis posted on YouTube, can you please use the YouTube chat to ask your questions if you do have questions? And Francisco will read it out to Francisco, and he'll answer those. But I'll probably ask you a question myself, Francisco.
Sure.
So you've got quite a mixed geology on the project. What has been the single biggest design challenge so far?
So far, so looking at particularly the design that I'm working on, which is the primary lining design for for Santo Station and for the rending tunnels. The key challenge in terms of looking at the geology will be having being able to find an adequate characterization of the materials. So being able to analyze all the different sources of information, boreholes, laboratory tests, to be able to find a very to be able to find a parameterization of those different materials that we would be happy to use in our design. It's probably the main challenge that we faced, because we have many different layers occurring at this location, Santos, and especially Santos area. It's quite a mixed, as you said, it's quite a mixed geological conditions there. So sometimes we have the cross section of the tunnel with 3, 4 completely different layers, and to be able to find a parameterization that we would be happy to use in this design would be, in my view, probably the biggest challenge we had so far.
Yeah, quite right there. Ground parameters are usually the first biggest hurdle to actually solve.
And Divik, I don't know if I can also ask a question to
Go for it,
Francisco.
yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask a similar question to yours, I have to confess. but now probably I could be a little bit more specific. We saw on the pictures that you showed, Francisco, that the tunnel is going. There is this area where the tunnel is going under a high-rise building. You could say with like 7 or 8 floors. How did you? What was the? Can you speak a little bit about the solution that you, the design solution that you used there to?
Well, that section there where we go underneath that building that you are referring to is part of the cut and cover part of the project, which is being developed by Jet SJ.
Okay.
So it's part of our. They are, of course, a different company, and they are part of the design team, and perhaps they're best placed to answer questions about that particular part of the design.
Okay.
Sorry, Luis. I'm probably
there,
not the best person to answer
yeah,
those questions about that specific interface.
But is there any interesting aspects apart from what you already spoke, already told us, that you
Yes.
want to highlight?
Yes, of course. So as I mentioned, the project, it's in a very old part of the city with a lot of history behind all those buildings in that area, and we have some challenging interfaces with some important listed buildings in that area. And of course, one of the challenges that and of course, the fact that we have very sensitive build assets there, and we have very reduced cover, the combination of these two factors has been a challenge for us, because of course we need to ensure that we have we cause very little volume loss, and we reduce as much as possible any settlement occurring on those buildings.
How did the use of BIM of um, the BIM software, the related softwares, did it helped you, good to you have so many interferences along the
So
path?
yes, so we haven't developed like a full scale proper beam model for
Okay.
this project. What we have developed a coordination model, which is a 3D basically it's a 3D model that includes all the civil works elements, and that of course also includes a lot of information about existing buildings, and some of the important assets we have in that area. So we have developed a coordination model that allows us to ensure that we can properly coordinate and position all the elements in such a way that we avoid, of course, clashes, and it helps overall. It helps to coordinate the works.
Okay, thank you, Francisco.
You're welcome.
A quick reminder to do those still listening. If you do have questions, please use the YouTube chat to ask them. But in the meantime, I think I might return back and quiz you more on about the cut and cover section. I mean, there's a fair bit of.
Ask me a question about the section that has nothing to do with the design that I'm doing, Divik.
Well, I'm just curious because I've spent a fair few years working in interface management and asset protection, certainly on Tideway East, and we had quite a few D-wall shafts.
Yes.
But do you happen to know if there's been any mitigations put into existing structures due to the large excavations?
Yes. Sorry, I said something that wasn't correct. So I'm not involved directly in the design of the cut and cover structure, but I'm involved in the damage assessment works. So and that goes to your question in terms of mitigation of what sort of mitigation works are being considered. So currently our main goal is to try to adopt excavation methodology that reduces as much as possible the impact on the existing assets. So instead of doing some active measures on the existing assets, we are trying to use construction methodology that reduce as much as possible the ground movement. So we, for example, for the running tunnels, we are considering areas of reduced ground movement, where we change the construction methodology, the rate of advance, the type of the excavation sequence, to try to reduce as much as possible the impact on existing assets.
Can you remind me again? What's your standard advanced length?
So the standard change. It goes. We have areas where we have 2 meters. Areas where we have, depending on which section we have areas with 2 meters. Areas with a little bit more. Some excavation of the invert goes all the way up to 4 meters, for example. But in these areas of reduced ground movement, we'll be talking about advances of 1 meter.
Yeah, makes sense. Thanks for answering that, Francisco.
You're welcome.
I don't think we've still got any questions from the floor. So I'll give it another 5 seconds. If anyone's got any questions, ask them now, else we might bring the Q&A to a wrap. Well, I think we might as well carry on with the rest of the working day. Well, once again, though, thanks a lot, Francisco, for sharing all that wealth of experience with us today. It was very interesting and and informative to see the fantastic work you guys are doing down in Lisbon. Uh, Louis, do you have a closing note that you might want to add on to?
Well, I just want to thank you for helping us with this webinar, and I hope that in the future we can cooperate more. And again, because this even about this project or about other projects, because this project is still in the beginning, so we will have more information in the future, I think. And I would also like to say that I don't know, but I think that if you if the people are going to see the video after the live events, then they can still use the comments to place any question to Francisco, I believe.
I'm sure I do get comments, questions afterwards at times. So, yeah,
Exactly.
if you are following, if you're watching this in the future and you do have questions, please drop them in the chat, and we'll try to get you an answer. So before we officially wrap up, I've got a few announcements to make. So I'll just quickly pull up my announcement slides. Right, just a short series of announcements, mostly about upcoming events. So just a quick reminder, the BTSYM 2021-22 committee applications close on Sunday. So if you are intending to apply but haven't filled up the application form, please do so by Sunday, basically. And you'll find the YouTube link on the BTSYM, the application link on the BTSYM social media pages, Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. I think it's gone live on. Following on from there, so next week will be our annual general meeting, followed by an evening lecture. And the lecture is titled Explaining Quality Engineering. Presented by Tiago, who's the quality lead for Balfour Beatty at Hinkley Point C. So nuclear new build is heavily driven by quality, and that's why we've sort of paired up with Tiago to actually explain the procedures they're using on the project. That lecture is an in-person lecture at the Institution of Civil Engineers, but of course, if you can't make it in person or if you're dialing in from overseas, you can follow it online on the BTS YouTube channel. There will be drinks that'll follow the lectures, so in case you can't make it to the lecture but still can make it to drinks, you're most welcome to. Even if you're flying from Portugal, most welcome to. Following on, next BTS presentation on the 18th of November. It's entitled Digital Twins for Condition Assessment of Brunel's Rail Tunnel and Future Applications. That will be presented by Anmol Beatty and Marco Invenici from Beatty Consulting. Again, an in-person event at the ICE. And then the last lecture for this year would be another BTS one, and it will be a project update from Thames Tideway Tunnel, presented by Andy Alder and a few representatives of the main work contractors. But again, if you've got more suggestions for potential lectures, please do reach out to either Sarah Langley or to the BTSYM. And I believe it'd be the same for you, Louis. If you've got suggestions for CPTYM lectures, please do reach out to Louis.
Yeah, thank you.
Further in November, we do have the BTS Health and Safety course returning back. It's 2 days of extensive content covering various elements associated with ensuring health, safety, and well-being on tunneling projects. for more details, visit the BTS website. And I think finishing off the year, it will be the 3rd of December, which is the National Tunneling Day. So keep an eye on the BTSYM's social media accounts for details on how to get involved and the various events that we'll be delivering in the lead up to Tunneling Day. I think finishing off with a Winter Wonderland social on the 3rd. So do keep an eye out for those events on our social media page. And then final one, the Harding Prize competition entries are now open. If you do want to take part, please send your papers by the 11th of February to bts@britishtunneling.com. For further information, do check the BTS website. So that's it in terms of announcements. So before wrapping up, I'd like to thank Francisco once again for his great presentation, and of course Louis for sort of joining hands with us and holding this joint event. So thanks both.